We are Nerd Cult Online. We're here to talk about Season 21 of Apex Legends from Electronic Arts and Respawn. So the biggest change is the addition of a new character, Alter. Now, she is by far one of my favorite characters, so much so that I basically would consider her my new main. As you can see, there are a lot of glitches in the new season, at least to start, where a lot of characters are not visible on the character cards before matches, and it is pretty consistent where you do see that happen even still, you know, weeks into the season. Along with Ultra, they brought back the solos mode. So here I am actually trying that out for the first time as I try Alter for the first time and becoming familiar with her abilities. Now, during the first weeks, they did have a series of Alter challenges for those that actually purchase the character, whether you use the in-game currency or if you use the actual gold credits or whatever the Apex coins are called, and bought her outright, and then you can actually work towards unlocking that. So when you're playing in groups, it is much more difficult to actually get Alter early on. But now that those challenges have ended, we actually, I don't tend to see her picked as often. Now, her main abilities, as you've probably seen from other people's videos, is that she has a little portal that she can throw up that allows her to basically pass through walls. And one of the challenges was to pass through a wall and it, within like 3 seconds, kill somebody. And so that actually became one of my very first challenges to try to complete, just as a personal goal. And by the end of the first day of playing her, I had already completed that one. It's actually pretty easy to do if you can get in, and especially if you're hitting a foe that's already been injured, and basically kind of planning ahead for that. Maybe injure them before they go into a room, and then use the portal to follow them and finish them off. But overall, I found her to be a lot of fun to play. Her portal ability, if you put it on the floor or ceiling, it'll also create basically almost like a vertical zip line that you can actually scale, and works for your teammates as well as your enemies if any of them see it. But with that, she does have what I consider a really good ultimate ability. Now, that ultimate ability basically allows you to throw down a device that you can teleport either yourself or your teammates, basically up to a maximum of 2 people, and those 2 people can only use it one time each. And in doing so, bring them to wherever you want. So, if you have yourself much further away than them and you place that down, that can actually allow them to traverse a large distance and join you by your side. And so it works really well when you're doing things like capture, or if you are waiting for one of the last rings to close and they're much further out and trying to get caught up to you, so that way they don't get injured by the fire shield or whatever that's called. Now, as far as the battle pass goes, we didn't take any actual footage of the pass itself, but it does have some of my favorite battle pass cosmetics. And for those that get Alter as well as get the pass, right away you do get the flying emote, as well as what's currently my favorite skin for Alter as well. And some really cool skins that kind of look almost Venomized. Specifically, what I mean by that is Venom from Marvel, his kind of black ooze. There's several characters that kind of look like they have that on them, and kind of more of a more futuristic effect, almost like they're kind of like space travelers of some sort. And definitely were some very different styled costumes than we're used to. But overall, probably my favorite battle pass since I started playing the game, and this is, I believe, my fourth, maybe fifth in a row that we've actually played and gone for. Now, as far as other changes to the season, there is a new mixtape mode called Lockdown. Now, I don't know if that mode was one that was there before in a previous season and came back, or if this is something that's entirely new. But basically, it's done very similar to Gun Run, where you have 4 teams of 3, and then at the same time, though, it's also like control, where you are basically capturing nodes. Now, those nodes are randomized, and there's multiples of them throughout the map, and so at any point there's 1 to 2 active, so you have to basically fight over that one tiny node to gain points for your team.
No time for a reader, but I know what I need to do.
Introducing your champion.
I wish all of you could fight tomorrow too, but you'll be dead.
You did your best, unfortunately. Replicator being delivered.
Now, one thing we did forget to mention is that this video is not sponsored in any way. I am just absolutely in love with this game, and even though I have all of the achievements, I still can't stop playing it, and it's an absolute blast. Now, that being said, the controls, the visuals, gameplay are very similar in almost every way to Titanfall, which is one of my all-time favorite games. Even though I typically don't like mobile arena battle games, but with this, it very much feels like a continuation of that universe, which I believe, is, from a lore perspective, it is. Now, hopefully, this continues to do well enough that they'll decide to proceed with making
Circles do have calming energy.
Titanfall 3 like they'd started. Now, from what I understand, this game actually started as Titanfall 3, and then somewhere along the way they modified it and made it a different game entirely. And so even though we didn't get Titanfall 3 yet, it definitely is well worth it. The game is completely free to play. You just have to earn in-game currency to unlock characters, and the items that you can actually spend money on. I love when games do it this way, where they are just purely cosmetic. There is no boost in game that they actually help with.
An enemy landed near. In the next ring.
Now I know with this season that there were some changes to the actual game mechanics as far as like some of the buffs and debuffs and things like that happened. But as far as their details, I read them once and I don't remember what any of them were. And honestly, playing the game, it really doesn't feel any different than it did before, other than the fact that we have a new character. Guns perform pretty much the same as they did, they feel like. And the character abilities do as well. So, from my perspective, at least the characters that I play, the changes were minute enough that I didn't notice a difference.
I'm getting shot.
Mission continued.
Okay, I'm back. Let's win this.
But overall, this game does continue to be one of my all-time favorite games to keep that I play currently, and still push to try to get the final prize in every battle pass. And I love the fact that those battle passes do include enough Apex coins to essentially cover the cost of the new season. And so, basically doing that and saving up those coins and not doing frivolous purchase, it is much easier to, continue on and after the initial one that was purchased and be able to, essentially fund itself in perpetuity and not having to worry about dealing with that actual cost out of pocket each time. But again, one of my absolute favorite games. Love playing it, and still just as addicted as I was early on. Like I said, it's basically been 4 to 5 straight seasons, and I plan on completing this battle pass like I did every single one before it. So having a lot of fun as always, and if you ever see me out there, even though I love playing the game, for some reason I'm still not, at least not in my opinion, great at it. Now, that video definitely says otherwise because that was really cool.